What's the crack there, lads? So, I wanted to talk about something, and I think it's a very important topic to address. Also, just two things really quickly. One is I'm posting this on my vlog channel and my gameplay channel, both of which are linked in the description. Let's see, what else is there? Oh yeah, while you're checking them out, there's my Twitter and there's my Instagram, assuming I didn't mix the two up. There's also my Snapchat in the description if you want to add that. Yeah, that's about it. Let's get this video started. So, first off on the list, we know fucking every mobile game is pay to win, even the single player ones. And that's kinda sad, if I'm honest. Couldn't imagine spending money on microtransactions on a good game, never mind the shit one on a screen so small the graphics could get away with 480p. Well, here's three examples anyways. Number one is Clash of Clans, and well, Clash Royale as well. Reading it now on Reddit, it's apparently nearly impossible to advance or quote unquote climb up the ladder, in their words, without spending quite a lot of money on it. Example number 2 out of 3, Dragon City. Haven't played it myself, but I'm sure to find chads who do can tell me if it's pay to win, because every comment disagrees with the other on the topic. I'm going to say it's pay to win because by definition buying anything that gives you any advantage whatsoever with real money counts as pay to win. Example 303, I guess since it's not only a phone game, I might not include it in here, or I might not be able to, but whatever, you can get it on your phone, tablet, etc. So Roblox, I guess. I don't think of the state why, but apparently a lot of the games you can pay real money for powerful weapons, like overpowered weapons. I don't really mind pay to win if it's purely single player, but man, even at that, it's pretty sad to use pay to win in any situation. Now for the actual games, and yeah, that might stir up a bit of controversy, but I don't care. Right, the first two I'm going to lump in together because they're basically the same game. NBA/FIFA. Constant microtransactions that usually don't yield very good results, if any. Not to mention they're unreasonably expensive considering that. Of course, that's not even mentioning how they sell the same game with slightly improved graphics nearly every single year, and if you attempt to argue with me on it, I'll hunt you down and shoot you in the head. Sometimes they've worse game mechanics than the previous years. I'd hazard a guess that some of the older NBA or FIFA games were good, because even if you had to grind, you could still build or use good teams, whereas nowadays it's all pay to win. That's in quotation marks, by the way, because again, paying for packs usually gives you dupes, which are oftentimes useless. Personally, I'm not a big fan of the sports game genre, nor in real life sports, because I am far from a team player. So naturally I'm taking my info from other sources than first-hand experience. Next up on the list we have Metal Gear Survive. I never thought the Metal Gear Solid series would stoop so low as to not only go pay to win, but fucking lock save files behind a paywall. Like hello? Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain was bad enough, considering that the other games in the series, being critically acclaimed with amazing storylines, amazing game mechanics and gameplay, etc., interesting characters, now we have pay to win infesting the series so bad we literally have to pay real money for the ability to have more save files. If you ask me, that's probably the lowest of the low in my opinion. I have played The Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid 5, and it is a decent game I suppose, but I haven't played the rest, and I also haven't played Metal Gear Survive, so I'm again going off second-hand sources. Literally any fucking EA game ever made. And I'm not going to tell you why, because, well, I don't think I need to, we all kind of know already. Alright, Genshin Impact. Really sad this is pay to win. I love the game, complexity of the gameplay, constantly switching between characters to get elemental reactions, dealing more damage. I love the game, the characters are interesting, the gameplay mechanics too, arguably better, or at the very least on par with Breath of the Wild, except it's way too grindy, like way too grindy. Yous all know I'm an otaku, which the definition's on screen now. So I love me anime. Naturally I'd love Genshin because it's anime style, to the point it would have been my number one game. Unfortunately though, as I mentioned, Genshin is way too fucking grindy. You get fuck all XP for finding anything at all, so leveling is unbelievably slow. You can use items to give you XP, which to their credit you can get for free, but again it takes ages to accumulate a half decent amount of them and they get spent way too fast. Not to mention, similar to FIFA games, buying packs, I suppose you could call them, with the in-game currency usually yield duplicate items or characters, but at the very least you still get something out of it. Like, duplicate weapons or items can be broken down into upgrade materials for your good or main items, and duplicate characters will unlock new abilities in the form of quote-unquote constellations for the characters that you've already got. To an extent anyway. So to their credit, it can still be free to play in most aspects, albeit a bit grindy, but it's doable on paper. Not to mention it's still kind of fun, but the pay to win aspect really knocks it off my top 5 list. Haha, the one we were all expecting, GTA 5. A true embarrassment to the GTA franchise and Rockstar as a whole, adding flying rocket bikes with homing missiles, which without grinding cost about $73.28 or €62.25. That's literally an entire day of work for me just to buy a shitty rocket bike without customizing that, including upgrading the armor, customizing cosmetics, which mind you was unreasonably expensive to begin with, or weapon modifications. Or I could buy a legitimately good game for much less than 62 quid, and that's far more fun than GTA Online because it's objectively unfun if you're not minted or constantly grinding. I think it's fairly stupid how you have to first pay 60 odd quid for the game 3 times over, mind you, if you bought the latest console release each time it came out, so that's already nearly 200 quid, or in dollars that's 235.45-ish. Then, join the online aspect, be given an unusably bad pistol, have to spend time leveling up off shitty missions which barely yield enough cash to pay the bills, which in and of itself is ironic because it's a game about robbery that you pay bills in. Of course, once you level up enough you can purchase other useless weapons with the immense amount of money it took weeks to grind, only to find that you're still vulnerable to a 7-year-old on his rocket bike with homing missiles. Even when you have one, the game is still shit because it becomes too easy for some parts, but too hard on others. For example, owning a drug or weed business in the game is cool, but when you make deliveries for the business, to make money obviously, other players hundreds of levels above you, quite literally by the way, can see what you're doing. And you might be thinking, just use the OP rocket bike, it goes 135 miles an hour and has homing missiles. Well, unfortunately they give you shitty postal vans with no armor put on them that literally struggle to get up most hills in the game, and generally are the slowest vehicles in the game. I could go on, but I think you see me point. And by the way, no, I didn't pay for any of that stuff. I grinded my ass off for literal fucking months, and only because of in-game discounts and bonus money from the missions I did I get the nightclub, Terabyte, and then a Presser Mark II. In other words, the rocket bike, and it still took months. I hope this puts into perspective how grindy the game is. Even with $1 million a month, it's still pretty feckin' grindy. Warzone is next on our list, and it's also the last game on our list. First of all, we've all heard about that notoriously shitty skin, which according to my little brother, the name of it is Rose, which makes you practically invisible, which I guess was quote-unquote unintentionally pay to win. It was realistically probably a marketing scheme to get the game some attention on the news or whatever, but that is just skepticism, so do take it with a grain of salt. Of course, it's debatable whether Warzone is pay to win, but I have seen, or more accurately read about, some pay to win aspects of the game. For instance, leveling up your guns on multiplayer, which mind you is locked behind a paywall, is far easier than doing just what's free, and there's some other stuff too, like one of my mates told me one of the best guns in the multiplayer game was locked behind a paywall. Season Pass I believe. And then again, I'm not so sure now that I've done my research. These days however, it wouldn't really surprise me. Now, I've only played a small bit of Warzone's Battle Royale mode, and I'm not paying for the multiplayer just to be destroyed even quicker by either pay-to-win nerds or people who are just better at the game than me, which is quite a lot, so I can't say from first-hand experience. Alas, the conclusion. Sad, but the video has to end eventually. As you've probably noticed, I don't play many pay-to-win games, well, because they annoy me in the worst way, because if I buy a game in a subscription service like, let's see, PS Plus or Xbox Live or whatever, why should I be expected to pay even more just to have the tiniest ounce of fun in the game I've already bought? GTA is the worst example of this, but there's plenty more. Sure, you could argue, well, Smasher, Genshin is definitely in your top 10, probably even your top 5 games, and that's pay to win, mostly. Well, yeah, but it's not overly done like most. Not to mention, it's not PvP, so I've got reason to go free to play. Not to mention, the game's that are free to play but have microtransactions do need to make back the money they used to make it, so it is reasonable. Fortnite, as much as it kills me to admit, did the microtransaction system right. They made their game free to play, then only sold cosmetic items like skins, gliders, back bling, pickaxes and whatever else. They give no advantage and it still makes them money. They've turned over an immense profit while keeping the game fair and free to play. This is the type of microtransaction I support, not the gambling-like aspects of FIFA or the stupidly overpriced system of GTA 5 where you have to pay to even have the smallest amount of fun. Well, I don't know how to properly end the conclusion off besides asking for your opinions either through the comments or maybe you can DM me on something. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe to both my channels, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. Peace out.
I'm so fresh, you can suck my nuts. I'm so fresh, you can suck my nuts. Swear. I'm so fresh, you can suck my nuts. 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 Swear. I'm so fresh.